over all the night. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we always gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Isn't it time for the start time? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, peace. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we always gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Isn't it time for the start time? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, make peace. All right, make peace, peace together. Peace. Wow. Thank you guys for joining me on the Shadow Chasing Show. I'm your host, Dark White Sky Cloud. I'm actually been doing so busy doing some major updates and fixing my computer. It crashed. So we were dealing with it, and I've got I ordered some new parts, guys. So I'm going to be installing more stuff in my computer. That's the reason why I've been having a lot of breakdowns. And yeah, it's improving. This is what it looks like, and I'll give you guys in front of this screen here. This is what I'm using right now. So we're installing this to make this better. I'm like, basically, this is what happens when you have a factory built computer, and there I need to have more RAM, more you name all that inside. So this is what I've been doing. And yes, I have been fixing myself. I'm fixing my stuff. So this little baby is going to help me a lot. And I ordered it, and it's my T-Force Vulcan Z. This is going to give me more RAM, more room, and my computer won't start shutting down, like it won't quit. So yeah, the show has just started, Travis. Thank you guys for joining us on the chat room. Those are actually on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Yeah, it's I was having difficulties getting on. The computer kept shutting down and crashing. So yeah, is is just starting. Yes, Travis just started. So you didn't miss nothing. You just missed me for, like, again, this little unit is going to be installed in my computer to make it last better, do better, sharper, quicker, type of thing. I've had a tech guy over here. One of the best techs ever. This guy actually has been doing it for over 20 years, and he trained a lot of people who actually open up my computer and say, "Oh, here's your problem. Da, 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 da. Replace this, fix that. Replace this, fix that. Update this, grade this. You're fine." Most of the time, these techs will tell you, get rid of this old stuff, get a new computer. But the thing is that the new computers are not always as good as what I've got, because sometimes I have some of my older programs in my computer that are nothing wrong with them, but they're not recognizing the newer pieces that are installed. So they have to somehow jiggle inside, and they figure out how to match that. Most techs don't know how to match it. And that's what happens. They go like, "Oh, if it doesn't work this way, this is probably what your problem is." They don't tell me what it is. So I got the best tech ever, and he came to my house, worked on my computer, pulled the side back. We vacuumed the heck out of it, took all the dust out, making sure nothing in there, no blockages in the fans, no sounds. Like, I was like, wow, can't believe it. So right now, as I'm doing the program, as we speak, folks, I don't hear no winding of noise come from my computer, and I'm going like, wow, okay, now it's working, right? I'm here in the room. So that's what I wanted. No loud noises, no clicking, no glitching, no crashing. Now, if it does crash a little bit, because it's probably needing this inside, so I'm going to add this into it after the program. So then actually it's two little pieces, little plates that go inside here to give this more power, because my computer, it needs to be upgraded, and that's why it was crashing, part of it. And also, of course, YT, those guys in there, they don't like to what I talk about. If I get too personable about certain things I say, what they end up doing is shutting my program off. Like, they'll just mic it out. They shut off the camera. Just go in there, AI will shut off the camera. Next thing you know, there's nothing there, blank. And then they just pop me right out. So now I found a way to block that, and they can't crash into the program anymore. They can't do wire in midstream because it is illegal. And they know that. So if they don't agree, they can wait until after the show's over, but they can't shut you off halfway through. That is wrong. They cannot do that. It's called free speech. Mind you, in Canada, we don't have free speech. In the United States, you do have free speech. But a lot of people saying in the States, even though you have free speech in the States, they're not following the guidelines and or law. And they're still shutting people off, even though they do have free speech. So either way, duh. But tonight, what I want to talk about, because we've been talking about so much regarding the governments and all was happening with the black hats and the white hats and the bad guys and the good guys. It sounds like cowboys and Indians, so to speak. Not in a way, but like, who's the good guy, is the bad guy. There's a lot of really great Indians out there. So we're actually what I want to do is change this around, and let's talk about predictions, because and we're talking about psychics and mediums. There are more kids coming out of the blue right now, and they're all over TikTok. I've been noticing a lot of children and as well as adults, people around my age as well, like no matter who you are or how old you are, there are so many people now coming out through TikTok, through Snapchat, through Facebook, to YouTube, through Rumble, no matter what it is, social network. They're coming out and they're having these major dreams or major visions, even near-death experiences. People have actually gotten an accident, died of a heart attack, came back. People, whatever, how their heart stopped. Next thing you know, they're gone maybe for 10, 15 minutes. Next thing they're back again. And they had a talk with our God and or whomever's in there when spirit while talking to them, maybe angels, you never know, whoever they've been talking to, show them visions of what can happen. Not what's going to happen, what can happen. And I'll tell you why. Everyone's believing it's the end of the freaking world. It is not the end of the world. I asked Spirit, is it the end of the world? They said no. Then why they keep calling it the apocalypse, or they call it whatever is the end of everything? It's the end times, but not the end of your time. The end times means, and I learned this from Robert Goldswolf, very well-known man who worked with the Hopi elders back in the 80s and the 90s. Robert Goldswolf had them on Art Bell. Art Bell could not use their real names, so he said Navajo Elder 1, 2, or 3, because he did not want these men to be exposed by some chance. People could probably come over to that area where they live and try to cause trouble or try to stop them from predicting the future, because they showed it. They kept talking about the great fires in the 21st century, the great fires that will become about in the 2021 to 2024, the great fires. Art Bell had them on back in the 1996, and they said this is what they had seen. 3 elders, the Hopi Nation, the Navajos even said the same thing. These are people from the south of the U.S. They're the ones that actually made this prediction. Okay. So the thing is, there's major changes happening as we speak. Yes, they are. And they kept talking about climate change. No, we're not going through climate change. We're climate changing. ING. Why? Because the Mother Earth is shifting. When people say it's a climate change and they're blaming us for it, it's not our fault. Everyone is trying to do their darndest and due diligence to try to do better to take care of the earth. We're far more respectable than it was generations ago. More people are more conscious of it, but for some reason they keep on making us or want us to believe that we are still not doing our part. Now they want to remove animals from extinction to extinction, that they cannot be used whatsoever as a food source, or a produce, production for us, say milk, that sort of thing, cheese, there's other things, eggs from chickens, anything that's the supply thereof. Okay. These governments, or corporations, they want to remove all that out of there. And if they can't remove it, they threaten you by saying, well, there's big V's all over here, and you're going to get this. If you don't get this job, you don't get that job, you don't get this, then you can't have this, you can't have that. What do you call that, folks? Fear mongering and the beginning of the NWO. And that's been going on since the 90s. It was brought in a long time ago for you to get used to that. To get used to that noise of the NWO. And you thought the NWO were heroes. They're not wrestlers. These guys are wrestling you down. Totally different people. And they were working out of the WCW, the World Wrestling, whatever. Okay. There was a guy who owned the company, who was part of that NWO, who created NWO, the name. And he was part of it with the other presidents of the United States before Trump came in as the elected president. Because everybody kept on saying, it's the beginning of the New World Order. The New World Order. I kept on hearing this all the time from every president except our commander in chief. Now, why would they say that? Why would they keep saying the beginning of the New World Order? The New World Order. They kept on bringing this up all the time. They're preparing us, but they're also letting you know to basically to cringe and to hide. And they taught you how to hide by exercising your freedoms. And they took that away from you back in 2019. But they also tried to use the exercising of your freedoms back in the year 2000 when they called it the Millennium, the Millennium 2000. They thought that was going to try and shut down all the computers, shut down all the internet services, and you're not going to have access to the internet, no access to the power, and they're going to shut down everything that you needed to believe that you needed. Okay? People have forgotten how to become independent to themselves and their families, how to grow their own fruits, grow their own vegetables, grow their own, to make their own preservatives, to co-create and work with the people, with your own community or your families. But the only way they had to try to find a way to do was to remove you away from each other, and that called it the lockdown. And they try to keep you to, and they had to try to use that fear-mongering phrase, be careful, don't get too close to each other. What if you're going to get the sickness? Oh, be careful, you need to have one of these in here. If you don't have it, you need to cover up. You need to do this. You need to be 6 feet apart. Oh, be careful, watch your back. Oh, don't trust your relative, don't trust your neighbor, don't trust this, don't trust that. They brainwashed you for how many years? Be careful, and you guys got brainwashed. All of us did. We all fell for it. Okay? But some of us actually got awakened. Why we got awakened? Because Spirit came through to me and said to me, don't listen to that. That is nothing but hogwash. They're just trying to scare you. Trust us, we're going to help you. And that's exactly what Spirit's been doing. They've been trying to come through for everyone, even you folks in the chat rooms. Spirit's been trying to come to you, even show you what not to fall for. So we always have that little inner doubt in ourselves. We begin to think that we can't trust our Creator because they taught us in the multi-stream media not to trust your Creator, but to trust them, that they see themselves as a God. And our Creator is misleading us. And they're doing it right now as we speak. They keep on saying, oh, don't trust your Creator. Don't trust that. Don't trust your God. You know, Jesus, and one guy, people are yelling out now that say Jesus is gay. No, he's not. Oh, he wore a dress. No, it's not a dress. Okay? They're making up stories. Don't trust him because if he was supposed to be your savior, then he would have saved you and you would never would have these problems. Okay. Here's the thing, folks. We're always questioning our capabilities of who we are. We're always questioning our lights within ourselves. We question our Creator at times. We have to ask for answers because this is the lessons that we learn. But this is where I become, in my work, what I do. I've learned to become a person of sensitivity and less in my senses. I learned to use my skills from my childhood. Let me tell you something about myself, because most of you guys have no idea what I'm all about. You mostly see me talk about, rant and rave about other things that have been happening in this world, that sort of thing. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Manitoba. It's one of the most haunted provinces in Canada. Okay? Manitoba is one of the most haunted provinces in Canada. Winnipeg is one of the biggest haunted provinces next to New York. Okay? Which New York is very haunted. Chicago, those areas. Again, it's going east, back and back, east and west. Ontario, also very haunted. But most of the areas that are very, very haunted, whether it's a negative or a positive, it's mostly the negatives at times, is in Winnipeg. Now, how did all this begin and who really got awakened? Well, number one, when I was 8 years old, I mean, I knew there was in my childhood growing up, I knew there was people in spirit passed away, but I knew of them, but I thought it was normal. I thought every child can see them. Okay. I thought every child can see them. And I believed it. I believed that everybody can see the spirits, see people that are transparent. That's what I saw. And I got used to it. I never got scared. Only one time, and I'll be honest with you, only once that I got scared. And I dreamt, or at least I thought I dreamed, but I realized after I saw myself, the time I became 9 years old, 9 or 10, I remember seeing myself uh, wakening up, and there was a skeleton under my bed, and the arm came from under my bed. I was not sleeping on. I was not sleeping on a regular bed. My parents, there was a shortage of bedrooms. There was 2-bedroom house. My sister, um, my mom and dad had their own room. My sister had her room, and I was sleeping in the kitchen on those folding beds. I mean, you guys remember they have those folding beds. Once you wheel out, it folds up. Okay, I was sleeping between the kitchen and the living room. That was my bed. And that time, I remember waking up in the morning, around middle. I'm waking up. I was actually woken up about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3, 4 in the morning, and I remember seeing this skeleton, this arm of the skeleton, grab me by the arm and try to pull me under the bed. Okay, that scared the living, I'm telling you, out from me. Like I went like, oh, and I was yelling and screaming as trying to pull me under, right? And then as I got pulled to the floor, the skeleton fell through the floor. Like it went in back into the floor, like it disappeared. Now I'm on the floor under my bed. The skull of the skeleton came back up again and laughed at me and said, "Enjoy your life." And his head went back down into the like as if he went back into the floor. Are you kidding me? That's exactly what I went through. When I saw the skull come up through the floor, now I was wide awake, 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. It's still going to happen, Chuck. It's going to happen. Trust me, my friend. I know it's going to happen. My apologies. I could not put a time on it. I thought I was right. Someone said it was going to happen that time, but it didn't. It's still going to come. Okay. I'm not bullshitting you, my friend. It's going to come. I'm hoping. Okay. I'm still staying with it, Chuck. And this guy here, folks, you weren't getting no Chuck. He's one of the most finest comedians on stage. I watched him. He's funny as heck. So if you ever want to see Chuck on stage, this guy is really good. Follow him sometimes. Go to his page. Follow him. Go see his stand up work. He's funny as all heck. Well, I didn't say you got $15 million and say you get $3 million each, right? So I know I told that 4 years ago, okay, but I'm still being honest about it. It's still going to happen. What happened was, let me explain that part. Our commander-in-chief had stated on platform and said that each of us will be receiving $3 million each. Now, we're not going to get it all at once. It's going to go into all of our bank accounts. But we're going to receive X amount of dollars per month, like as in like maybe $5,000 or $10,000 per month. We get to use it. They don't want us to overspend it, like go crazy over it, but we'll be getting that. Now, what it is, what the purpose of that is everything we've been paying taxes on, which is part of our birth certificate. All that is accumulated and put back into your bank account. Any mortgages you've been paying, all that goes back into your bank account. Everything that you put out as far as taxes are concerned goes back into your bank account because it's all illegal. That's what this whole thing is about. So I can explain more about that after I've got the documentation, the copies of documentation of it. And I'll probably be able to show that to you tonight if it's possible. I'm going to try and see if I can bring it up. But I wanted to talk about this as well. Anyways, in my childhood, when I started noticing that, and I didn't even understand why a skeleton trying to pull me under the bed. So many years later, growing up, I met this fellow, and or he found me, and he said to me it was my time to start using my gifts. It was basically talking to spirits, that sort of thing. So when I was told, I asked him, I said, this has been on my mind for many, many years. And I said to him, I told my story about the skeleton grabbed me, pulled me from under the bed, and then how he came back up again, told me to enjoy my life and that I was going to be neat, important. I asked him what it meant, and he said to me, whenever you see a skull or a skeleton trying to pull you under the bed, it means that you have the ability to actually to solve mysteries, that you'll be called upon to help people to solve mysteries. It could be murder mystery, it could be mysteries of certain things in general in life, but it'd be important. It's not just personal, it's all to do with helping the public. So, which made a whole lot of sense because through the years after, I ended up helping the police help find missing people. That was my job, and that represents mystery. So that's probably what it meant, because I saw the skeleton pull me under the bed, and that's what it meant. And so I met other like-minded people, like me, had the same story, same thing happened to them. They also had skeletons trying to pull them under the bed when they were kids. So it's not just I'm not saying every kid, but some of the kids. And they also, these kids that became readers, psychics, and mediums, mostly mediums. So, and it's all ethnic background, different people from all over the world. So I thought I was the only one, but there's many others like us. Each of us goes through something different, totally different. And I went through that process. I learned how to not to be afraid of the dark, because I understand that we go to bed in the dark, we wake up in the morning, but we get used to walking in the dark because we get up to the bathroom in the dark. You get used to following your own path and pattern in your house, so it doesn't bother you. But there are times I've been on paranormal investigations where I got used to walking in the dark. It doesn't bother me. But they're my friends partners that I've worked with, and that are paranormal investigators. They themselves have difficulties walking in the dark because they didn't go through the same experience as I did. So you always see the other one odd fellow or girl all of a sudden go, ooh, like this, and they'll jump and they'll see something over there and it'll freak out. And I'm looking over there and going like, okay, because I was used to that growing up through the years. I got used to it. And that's why now, sure, the odd time you walk in outdoors out back once in a while, you probably can startle yourself if somebody sneaks up behind you and say boo, whatever. But that's normal. But I'm talking about if you really want to go on a deep investigation to, say, solve a mystery in a house or solve a mystery in a building. If you're doing a PI investigation, you'd be surprised the things that you can find and help to solve some of the cases, which is really good to do. So everyone, and sometimes even kids, will go through an experience of having to see a ghost in the closet, or something comes in that's actually staring back at them from the closet. Closets are well known or used in stories as well. Anything with a door connected to it. Once in a while, you'll see your own bedroom door will open up and there's nobody there. How many times that happened to you guys? I've seen it where kids have told me themselves that they will see their bedroom door open up and there's nobody there, but yet it'll close again. And I'll tell them, because there's somebody in the family that's looking over them to see how they're doing, and they close the door to let them know that they're around them, to keep an eye on them. They're never there to harm you. And I've watched a lot of videos that people have been never been harmed. They're just don't realize how well they're being taken care of and watched over through the years. Okay. That's normal for all of us. And yet we have a lot of new kids today that are still trying to understand about, again, the same story. Okay. So through the years, I've learned how to work with spirit, but I didn't know how to use what to do, how what to use, how well. Like I said, through the years growing up, and I talked to spirits and people, even in my own bedroom when I was growing up. I would see ghosts, I would see scenes, certain things that would happen. I remember seeing a couple monks in the ghostly world talk to me, standing in the corner of my bedroom. I had a large bedroom. They'll stand in the corner in the darkness, and they look like this kind of glowing scene in the corner. I see a monk laying down, as if he's dying, and there's two monks on their knees and they're praying. I guess he's dying, and I didn't understand what that story meant. And I'm watching this, and then the both two monks look back at me as if they're looking at me like, okay, you should be doing this too. What? Be a monk or pray? You don't know. You're just a teenager, right? So they show the scene. They show many different things, but it'll brighten up the corner, shows you the story, and then all of a sudden it gets dark, like it's not there anymore. I've seen it myself. I've gone through, I've seen different types of versions of and anything and everything, even to including extraterrestrial, where extraterrestrials will actually show up and talk to me. Not the ones you see, they call little green men or little white guys. I had never seen them. The ones I saw were much larger, like human like us. They're from another planetary system, but not the typical ones. Now, people were saying, how come they're not coming? Those particular ones, how come those ones didn't come after me? Because I was told that they're not supposed to come anywhere near me. I'm protected. So everybody has a specific lesson to learn, no matter who it is that's coming to see them to help them. But I've never seen anybody really be harmed. Mind you, they've been examined physically. Sometimes people would become traumatized because they don't understand why they're going through the process of examination from the extraterrestrials. And they're just people like us from a future generation, what they look like for what we could have looked like in the future if we don't take care of ourselves, because we can begin to look like them. And we don't want our DNA to change to look like them, do we? So that's why, because some of them actually, some of the extraterrestrial beings did say, the ones that are really skinny and large heads, they said that they are our future. This is what we can look like if we don't take care of ourselves and take care of each other. We can look like that in the future. That's because they're showing us ahead of time what can happen. No, I don't want to be like them, where you have no soul, no care, no relationship. It's just like there's nothing there. You're just a wandering being, has no future, no benefit. And I think this is what needs to be looked at. There needs to be more people out there to have a better understanding about what's going on in this world, really. So anyways, that's part of this. And then through the years as I was growing up, I learned to communicate with spirits. And I've actually gone through some major wow, holy crap. What story can I talk about? I'm trying to figure which one I can talk about, because it's really interesting. Some of them actually were people from different parts of the world, and they came to see. I remember when I was a kid, Jesus came to see me when I was 8 years old. Then he came to see me again when I was 16, being on the farm, talking to me. Told me it was my time to leave. I didn't have to stay anymore. He didn't say I had to go, but he just told me I didn't have to stay anymore in this world. I was complete. I've already finished my journey here. That I've sacrificed myself enough. Like in my last life before, I was a British officer, and I died young. I was 23, and this life at being 16, I didn't have to stay anymore. But I had an option to stay. I wanted to see the future. That's why I'm here. For some reason in my mind kept thinking, I got to be here. I don't know why. I still have to be here. I got something here to fulfill. I got to help people out. I don't know what it is, but I need to be there. And that's exactly why I stayed. Okay. I didn't have to stay. So, yeah. So that's what I want to point out. So now, a lot of you folks out there today, and a lot of people are really curious, especially like I said before, young kids today are going through a lot of emotional, not trauma, but emotional um, awakening, and they don't know how to say or approach the public, whether they're going to accept it or not. You're getting a lot of kids and young, even adults. Like I said before, I've actually had near death experiences. I've had near death experiences at 3 of them. I still lived through it. I came back and I'm still here, even after being 16. I mean, I had a major truck accident that I shouldn't be here, but I survived it for a reason. And then through the years, a couple more, I should have died. I'm still here. I choked on pills, lots of pills that went down my throat, got lodged, and I couldn't breathe. And my wife called for the ambulance, the emergency ambulance, come over, and the paramedics had to pound the lodging of the pills out of my throat, or else I would have died right there. I was almost close to being gone, and I was trying to talk. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe, and I kept saying to my wife, "I love you. I love you. I don't know how long I'm going to be here." And you know, that's that's exactly what all of us goes through. And yet I didn't fear leaving, because people taught, like the churches teach us to fear. They teach us to fear death, and we're not supposed to fear death. I mean, because that's all part of us. That's we transition. We don't, even the word death is not even a word. Death means fear. Death means like it's over. That's it. That you're done. And you don't lay there in the coffin, your arms crossed forever, and you sleep forever. It doesn't work that way. Your body's there, but your consciousness is not connected to the body. It's gone. I mean, you're back in the ether. You're back in the spirit world with the rest of your relatives again. You're not laying there and sleeping forever. If anybody came up with that idea that you're sleeping, you look like you're sleeping, but you're not there anymore. Your consciousness is above the body. If you're seeing yourself being buried, or most time not even cremated, you're just there. We don't ever die. We are a continuation of our lifestyle, our lifetimes, for as long as we want to. If we want to keep coming back and learn and do more, we do. That's our decision. God's never stopped us from even having to live here. They love it. They love it even more if we wanted to be here. And the more lessons we learn, the better off our consciousness is, the better is easy. Also, our it has nothing to do with karma. People used to say a lot of karma's got to do with it. Not really. We always go through karmic decisions, but our soul always learns so many new things all the time. And the souls are the ones that enter our body and take on the conscious sensitivities, learn about love, hate, rejoice, fear, learn to overcome fear, faith, rejoice. There's so many things, relationships, you name it. It's all what the soul is learning. Anything to do with community and out of community. It learns so many things on this planet, because we are the youngest planet in the universe. We learn lots of lessons here. Okay. So, okay. Someone said, who's that? Heidi says, my 2 girls saw something under their bed when they were little ones. Yeah. There was a story about 2 boys that I know that there was a ghost under their bed, and it was trying to scare them. So the mother called me up one time, and she said, my boys are so scared they don't want to go back in their bedroom because the ghost is under the bed and it's scaring the boys. And I said, well, you go in the bedroom and tell the ghost to go to your bedroom, and I'll meet up with you and your husband over at the house. Now, the house that they had was a brand new built house on the location, on a piece of land that actually was once taken down, and it was a small house, and then a new house was built on top of that, which is not owned by the same people, different people. This is the new people that moved on the land. And when I got there, the wife was there. Husband was a lawyer. He was back at work. So we went upstairs to the bedroom. We kept the kids out of the room. She said she got somebody in the family to come and get the kids and not to be involved. So I called out the ghost. We went into the room. Now these are 10-foot vault ceilings in the bedroom, so not just your average 8 foot high. They're 10 feet, so 2 extra feet. So good fair height. And when I walked in, I called out the ghost. And in my work, I called out the ghost and I said, "Get out, come out from behind that bed. You don't belong here. You don't need to be here anymore. You need to cross over into the light." The ghost came out from behind the bed. He looked like a tall version of a Casper. Have you ever known Casper, the friendly ghost? He looks like a tall version of Casper, except he's got black eyes, like this, look like charcoal eyes, and a charcoal mouth. No nose, I didn't see the nose. And he put his hands on his hips like, "I'm not leaving." He's going like, "No, I'm not leaving. This is my place." Like he just basically said, this is his place. So I said, "You need to leave now because I'm going to call for archangels, Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, and Michelangelo to come and get you and to take you out." And he says that nobody can remove him. So I called up the angels out loud, one of the angels to come down to come and get him. We both, the wife and myself, witnessed watching. The ghost was standing right here as I'm sitting. Say he's standing behind, say this is the headboard, or he's out from behind the headboard. He's right here. We watched above me, for example, or above the ghost, the silhouette of smoke come down. It looked like smoke coming down from behind the ghost. And it took form of a giant heart, like as high as 9.5 feet. And I figured, okay, that's got to be the wings of the angel. And it came down. The angel reached out, put his arms around the ghost, not like clutching, "I'm going to put you in an arm bar," but an arms around him, dropped his head like this. And I could see the angel actually, I felt that he was sending the memories to the ghost, telling him, "Here's who you once were. This is what you need to see. This is the reason why they're asking you to leave." And then the angel let him go. The angel just billowed back through the ceiling. And then maybe about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, the ghost said to both of us in his own, like loudly, said out loud, he says, "I'm so sorry. I did not mean to scare your family." He says, "I have to go now." And then he went like this, reached up to the ceiling, and there's a billow of smoke come through the ceiling halfways, which would look like the head, upper head and arms of the angel grabbing the ghost up through the ceiling, and they disappeared. He says, "Thank you, goodbye," and left through the ceiling. The house got cleaned that day. We both witnessed this. Okay. Not the first time I saw angels that do this for us, but this is what you can do. And I tell people this: if you really need to clean a room, clean a house, call for your archangels to protect you. Archangel Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, or Michelangelo. Those are the four. One of those two will show up and take care of business. Okay? And that's exactly what happened that day. I'll never forget that day to the end of my life here. It was one of the most coolest time in my life that I've ever experienced that. So the thing is that a lot of people need to understand that we can all go through this, and we just have to have more faith in it, that they're there for us, and we can do a lot for the communities to really do well in this world. We need to trust our guidance. We need to trust our trust spirit to help us. Now, basically, we're talking about predictions. There have been a lot of kids, like I said before, as I mentioned this again, there's children, young people today, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, even older. Kids today are actually telling their moms and their dads, and the mothers, mostly the mothers, are interviewing their own kids on TikTok, for example. And the kids are telling the mother or the people to the public on TikTok, from TikTok to the public, that the kids are saying, the mothers never said nothing to the children. The kids said, "We never die. They said, but they saw, the kids were sitting there doing their thing. Yeah, we saw Jesus, and Jesus was playing with me, and we're talking, and Jesus said, "Here, this is what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen." And the kids are taking it as normal. They weren't traumatized. They weren't upset. They weren't scared. But then the mothers are asking their kids, like, "What did Jesus do? What did Jesus say?" Well, to be prepared for the changes, because the earth's going to shift even more. That we need to take care of each other, and to provide food for each other, and save this and save that. Now, here's a child. The child has no idea what's going on. The parents are not discussing anything with his kids. The kids are getting these messages from spirit. Okay, and these kids are not crazy. And they said the first thing we have to do is to learn to love each other and trust each other. We have forgotten to love. And these are kids saying this. We've forgotten to love. True, like love each other, not to hate each other. And the children were, and then sometimes some of the kids will cry. They're in tears. They're going like, "I don't know why everybody's always so mad at each other. Why are they so mad out there?" Like, but the kids never watched it on TV. They never watch any other videos. But they're because I guess the angels or God or Jesus is showing them, holding on to their hand, showing them all what's going on across the world. The kids are seeing this already. These kids aren't blind. They're not being misled. They're already seeing it. They're showing them, here's what can happen. Here's what can happen, that we need to spend more time with our kids and understand the fact that these kids are trying to show us something. Okay? They are the new leaders of life, but they're showing us that they already have seen what's going to happen ahead of time, to be prepared. It's not the end of the world. Trust me, guys. It's not the end of the world. They call it the end times. Does not mean it's the end. You're not going to go all gone, everybody's disappeared, this planet's empty. No. What it means is that we need to start to work together with each other and stop hating each other and stop looking for wars. Okay? We need to better ourselves. This is what this whole thing is about, is to better ourselves and to work together as a community. Okay. Linda says, aren't most souls wanting to be here for the ascension and these times to help with energy, etc.? The souls are to learn through us. They're not coming to Earth to learn about the Earth. It's actually each individual soul is coming through to each individual us. We are going through the life experience. They're feeling it what we go through. That's our life experience. Are they coming through them with memory of the spirit world? They will accumulate history. That's why you have the Akashic records. They will actually insert their memory through the Akashic records. They will leave that behind and leave it there for the world to see in the future. We all have the ability to go to the Akashic records to see the past, but we cannot see the future because it's not for us to see. If we saw the future already, then we have not learned anything. This is what most people may not understand or even understand, is that God has given us an option of freedom, free will. Those who have suffered, those who actually want to allow themselves to suffer, we all go through suffering of our own, but we have to learn how to overcome what we put ourselves through. We choose the family at beginning of time, or families, and we have to go through life experiences, all many sorts. Okay. Thank you, Jesse. Jesse says Manitoba. Manitou means spirit in Ojibwe, Anishinaabe. So that means a lot of sense, this place being highly active with the paranormal. You're correct. Absolutely correct. Even though there was Manitoba or Manitou, but in the Lakota language, Manitou is great spirit. So it all makes sense. It all makes sense. So the thing is that it's a place. People may not realize Manitoba was actually very sacred land. It was I'm not going to say it's just for one specific race. It was sacred land because that land itself was an ascension to extraterrestrial service. It's one of the hottest spots, one of the major hot spots next to British Columbia, and there was a lot of UFO landings and underground tunnels under Manitoba. So at the beginning, the underground tunnels were for the extraterrestrials, but then down the road, the underground tunnels began to be used for human use to go to prostitution houses. They made their own, from the judges' chambers, police station, to the underground across the street to the prostitution rings. That the even the they had over 100, and I think it was over 180. We call it cat houses in whatever you want to call it, Manitoba. Over 100, it was 180 or 80 of these in Manitoba. In Canada, we had the biggest prostitution ring in our country back in from the late 1790s to 1930 or 1940s. Then that got changed when the women start to vote, and I can't remember what they call it. Women started to vote, and they took over and stopped all this from happening. But in Manitoba, there still is one more hotel that still provides prostitution, where if you want to go into the hotel, the girls are waiting for you there. But that's called the red light district. But it's in the hotel. It's considered only one hotel, and the girls will lean over the balconies to draw the guys in the hotel. That's still in Manitoba, only one province. Now, here's one thing you guys may not know. In Canada, if you are a psychic medium and practicing your skills as a reader, healer, whatever type of work you're doing, every other province in this country, you don't have to have a license. In Manitoba, you have to have a license to do readings or healing work in that province. Why? Because there were gypsies that came into that region about 1990-ish. Okay, 1990, I can't remember what it was. They did so many, I guess we'd say, cons to the public that the city hall had to make a decision to make some changes. So someone in City Hall decided to pass a law that you had to have a license, and you have to prove to the city that you are a qualified reader healer. They will test you at times. Or if you are from out of the province and you're in town, say you're doing a specific program, show, conference, then you still have to apply for a license. You can't just come in there into Manitoba and start reading people. You have to have a license. If you're caught without a license, you pay a fine. It's $1,600. If you do have a license, say if you're going to be there for say 2 weeks, then you get a license for 2 weeks. If you want to do a performance for 3 days, you get a license for 3 days. Then you have to display that license on the table or location where you are. If you don't display that license and the police officer walks in, he can actually arrest you and take you to jail under called the blasphemous law. Yes, folks, there is a Canadian law called blasphemy law, and that they would call you'd be labeled under the Witchcraft Act. Okay, be labeled under the Witchcraft Act. So you have to have a license. Where do you apply? City Hall. Anybody who's in Manitoba work as a reader healer, you need to apply to have a license. If you don't have that license, you can be arrested and taken to jail. I was in Winnipeg. When I was in Winnipeg, I went back to Winnipeg to go visit some of my cousins. At the same time, I did a conference where there was 8 of us mediums that traveled across Canada, each province. And when I found out from Don Wilson, he is actually one of the guys, our leaders of our group, Don told us, he says, you have to have a license. If you don't have a license in Winnipeg, then you get charged, you get fined. You don't want to have a big fine. So you also had to display it on your table where you are, or on your house, in your house, at your house, wherever you're going to be, that sort of thing. But you have to have a license. If you don't have a license, you can be charged. So I did not know that. Okay. And that was a surprise for me. So this is what I want to give you guys heads up on that one. Eventually, be honest with you, I would prefer people to have a license as readers and healers, because why I'm saying this, because it protects you and it protects the client. We still got the gypsy people out there still conning people, telling them that there's curses in their family, and it's going to cost them $3,000 and $5,000, and then to remove 3 days worth of prayers and candles and multicolored candles, and they're going to say they're going to get rid of all that, and they'll actually put business cards in your windows, your cars, whatever have you. And it's a guaranteed 100% will get rid of all the curses. That's malarkey, and that's what the gypsies were doing. They've been going on doing this, and each of the gypsies are set up in different territories across our country, whether it's in Canada or United States. There's always gypsies territories. Now, mind you, there's some good gypsies, but there's some really nasty ones, and there's some that I know personally were nasty, and they would cause more trouble in the community. And I was the only one apparently that stood up to them and told them off. And I'll give you a story. I know you guys may not know this one, but there was a lady. I won't mention her name because I've already said I mention her name too often. But let's start Mrs. D. I'll call her Mrs. D. Her and her daughter. This is here in BC. Her and her daughter, her family. All these are gypsies, and she has a bunch of sisters. Mrs. D has a bunch of sisters. They're all readers, and they're all from the gypsy community. And they're going around doing readings in different locations. That's fine and dandy. That whatever they do in their own life is their own business. But I still see their business cards in places they put on people's cars and their windows, and it says guaranteed curse removal, or you're the lucky one. Here, this number here, call this number, which you already know it's a setup. One of my clients just recently went to go see one of the gypsies here in BC. Now, she didn't know she was a gypsy. First of all, she suspected it, but she just went ahead anyways. She went down there and to this woman's house, and she has her sign on the front lawn that she's a psychic and gypsy. And you start seeing that hand all lit up, and looks like this astrological hand. The ones that have this on that window, okay, like this, and it says astrological, and it says it has reading and psychic reading, and it has a big hand. Those are your gypsies, okay? Seldom ever come across a real good palm reader that would go like this and say, okay, read me. No, I've had palm readers read me, and they're not gypsies, they're regular people. So what happened was, like Mrs. D, we did the tour. I'll talk about, we did the tour all across Canada, and our last show, we're going to be Vancouver. And this was at the PNE, the Pacific National Exhibition Grounds. This is where we were at. And one of the ladies who was the manager of the event, this is Dawn's manager, I'm not going to mention her name here, who I did not know that she was related by marriage to Mrs. D. I didn't know that until after. But anyways, the manager was establishing me to go to be next to Mrs. D, her booth. And I went, no, I'm not going there. I said, I'll take that far wall against there. I'll take that far wall. I'm out of the way. Nobody will bother me. I'll do my thing. I'll just be that far wall. And she says, well, so you're going to be right next to the spiritualist church. I said, yes, I'll take the far wall next to the spiritualist church because I know those guys. She goes, you don't want to be over here? No, I don't want to be in the center. I'll be at the far end. So she didn't say nothing, but she went over. She said, well, why do you want to go there? Why do you want to be to Mrs. D? I said, because her daughter and her sister caused trouble, scared a whole bunch of our people that I know personally. And I got fed up with the bull crap, and I got one lady to kick her out because she was telling a young couple that just experienced it the very first time, never had a reading before, young couple, and the girl was in tears, crying, and she was told by this gypsy who pretended to be somebody else, told her that she's got a curse in her family, and that the letter J is going to, anybody she meets that has the letter J to it will be cursed for us forever. And if she goes and tells somebody else about what the curse is all about, then she's going to be cursed forever. And then the woman herself will deny it that she's ever told her, like basically to scare the shit out of her. So I'm watching her from a distance because I'm in the same building, because we're all doing different stuff, selling our stuff. But I was a seller then, I wasn't a reading then. And I witnessed this girl in tears, and she's walking by my table. I knew that woman actually was reading her, and I suspected something was not right. So I said to the young lady, I said, what happened? How come you're crying? And she said, well, I can't tell you. I said, why? She says, because, you know, she told me that I have a curse in my family. And she says, I don't know if I got a curse in my family. I said, well, are you going through hardship? No. So are you enjoying your life? Yes. I said, you got this new man in your life? Yes. Then you got no curse in your family. There's no curse. She said, well, how do you know? I said, because I'm a medium and I can tell by looking at you and I can feel your energy. There's no curse around you. There has never had been a curse. Never will be a curse. I said, that woman over there is a fake and a fraud. She told you something that she should never have told you at all. She's trying to make money from you, more money from you. You gave her $10 to read you for about 5 minutes. I said, but she wants another $5,000 to get rid of your, tell you to get rid of, to pay her to get rid of your curse, supposed curse. I said, would you want to pay that $5,000 and believe it? Or would you rather just say, I don't want $10 back and report her? So she is a young, passive young lady. She's not the person that would ever want to go any further with it, but she says, I don't know what to do. Let me tell you something about you. Okay. I told her exactly about what kind of person she was like, gave her message about her future. I said, I'm not going to charge you for this. This is my gift to you from God. And I gave her the message and made her feel a lot better. I said, I think you need to go back and get your boyfriend to go with you and go back, get your $10, demand your $10 back. And then you go and report it to the manager of this building and have her removed. So what they did, the boyfriend goes over and that woman refused to pay her back. So she went over and got a hold of the manager of the building. They come over and they demanded her to hand over the money. And then she kicked her out. Now, this story was before Mrs. D. That's what I'm saying. So when I told this to Miss G, she told Mrs. D what I told her. And what does she do? Being no more than 10 feet from me, she said out loud, aren't they over that yet? That story? Aren't they over that yet? I'm thinking, really? Really? You really had to bring it in. Okay. So I walked up to her and she was with, and Mrs. D was with her daughter, who actually gave me a reading too a few years before that. I was testing her to see if she's good. Here's what my opinion was. The young lady said to me that I had a brother that passed away, and I'm still suffering over that. I'm still upset and angry and blah blah blah. No, nothing happened. Never had a brother that passed away. I wasn't suffering, so I don't know where she's coming from. Second of all, I told her, I said, you know what? You couldn't read out a paper bag. And I said, and you, Mrs. D, I said, I don't know where the heck you're coming from, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you a reading, and it's not going to cost you nothing. I'm going to make a prediction for you. I'm going to predict that you're not going to get no readings this weekend. Not one. Nada. Because my guys told me to tell you this. You're done for the weekend. They're making sure you get nothing. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to tell nobody about it. I said, but you're not. That's my prediction. And she goes, we'll see. She goes, she does this to me like, you know. So anyway, she does a little signal, buckers off, and now she's looking back at me and thinking, okay, if I'm saying this, she's going to make some changes. So what does she do? She makes a phone call. Two men show up about maybe an hour later, and they're bringing in all this angel statues and some materials, and she's got this 10 by 10 booth, and she's draping it all around with silks and you name it to look like an angelic booth, and there's statues of angels, and to give it that nice, nice look feature. I mean, I liked it, but you can disguise something to make it look good, but the darkness is still in there, and it's hiding. So in the meantime, Mrs. D, all through Saturday, nobody walked in her booth. They just walked right by her. And she's got her business cards, and she's trying to shove business cards in people's faces. The place is busy as all heck. Lots of people coming in, customers coming in. And she keeps on shoving the cards in their hands, and they're saying, no, thank you, no, thank you. And they're walking by. Now, by the evening, this is a full day event on a Saturday. Mrs. D was getting really upset with me, and she's going like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that man's put on me. She says, I don't really appreciate it. She's really loud. I don't appreciate it. He put something on us. That's the reason why this is not working for any of us. No one's coming in my booth. Nobody's getting any readings. Okay. I didn't say a word. I was busy. I was in the far wall and I was busy as all heck. I wasn't hardly even able to look up to see what's going on over there. I was busy doing my thing all through the weekend. Sunday comes around because it's a 2-day event. Sunday comes around. Before 12 noon, she was fed up, loudly and fed up. And she says, that's it. I'm out of here. She dismantled everything and left. She was the only one that left. And she looked at me and she said to me, I don't know how you did it. I don't know who you told. She says, but I'm not very happy with you. And I'm going to make it hard on you. I said, really? Let me tell you something. If I see you anywhere on the street, and if I see you, what you do anymore, if I get clients coming to me and it's your family that said anything to me or to my clients, okay, guess what? You're done as dinner, because I'm making sure I come back after you again. So I'm still getting some once in a while, sending her client, not her clients, but her sister's clients, and they call me up. Okay, they're calling me and they come and get a reading, but they're telling me after that they went for a reading and these people are telling them there's curses in their family, or they'll do the magic trick by having to put a piece of hair and they break the egg and they pull it. There's actually this bad thing in here. Oh my God. Whoa. Okay. Woo. And I told them that's a magic trick. Anybody can do that. Anybody can put a little piece of hair between your finger, break the egg, and slip it inside and say, oh, look. It's no magic trick. I said, those are the gypsies, and stay away from them. Don't ever mess with them. And I feel really bad for a lot of people in the South Asian community, Indian community. They themselves are victims of the gypsies as well, especially young kids, young women, not young men, mostly women, that go and see them for the experience for the first time, 18, 19, 20 years old, and they're told the same thing, the curse in their family. And that goes to be too much. It gets to be too much. And I had to get these kids to go back and collect their $5,000 back from these people. But every time they go trying to go back and get their money, it's gone. Like, oh, we don't have money, we're poor, we don't have anything. What 5,000? You never gave me 5,000. Yes, she did. So now she's got to go back, and this young girls, I feel so bad because they had to borrow the money from friends, not family, friends. Now, if they told their family that they got duped by $5,000 from that gypsy, guess what? Hell would pay. They would go after her. But because she didn't want to be, I guess make herself look bad in front of her family, so she had to borrow the money from her friends. So I told her, I said, well, now you know not to deal with gypsies. And next time, do your research. Eki says, do you ever have an off reading? The only time I ever had one off in my whole entire life, I had one off reading, which basically, not because I couldn't read, not because I read the person I was wrong. I could not read the person, period. This lady comes to my house for appointment. She sat down in front of me. Nice lady, nice person. And I looked at her and I went, I can't read you. I can't get by you. I got nothing to tell you. I said, I'm sorry. You'll have to go to somebody else. I'm not sure why they won't let me see you or to talk to you or to read you, but I'm totally blank. And she goes, well, why? What's wrong with me? I says, well, all I could see, I'm not honestly nothing around you, just that I can't read you. They won't let me read you. You'll have to go to this person. So I sent her to another lady, and she got really mad at me. She goes, oh, so you're telling me I'm going to die in a month from now? I never told you that. I never did say you're going to die. Where did you come up with that? I said to her, I could not read her. So she fixated the idea thinking that she's going to die because I couldn't read her. I never told her the word that she was going to die. I never told her that at all. I said, I can't read you. Go see this person. So I sent her to a lady friend of mine up in Maple Ridge, and she went to go see her, and she got her reading. Now I said to her, if you don't pass away, call me in a month from now, because you say you're going to die in a month. If you don't pass away, then call me and say, yeah, I got a reading from your friend and what you advised do. But I didn't hear back from her. That's the only off time in my life I ever had a reading. I gave her some off reading. but that's the only time. Sometimes I would get, as an off reading, sometimes I would have, how do you say, not off, it's more of a, you get a census of certain things and you're trying to figure them out. I go like, why am I getting this feeling? Um, but again, there could be symbolisms, or there could be a story that relates to what the person is dealing with that day, that sort of thing. So yeah, in one way, Diane, some people's auras are closed. It's not really the aura. I couldn't see past her. She was blank. Like, all I could see, nothing. She looked like a, there's that person, but there was no energy, not nothing. I saw nothing around her, because normally it's the aura that you see, that's the energy. Okay, that's where you see, you can tell where there's some people like myself, I can see colors around people, or auric issue, or just their energy, because like, it's the voice of the person. I can see the vibration or feel the vibration of the communication. If you listen to their voice, you can trust, because I can listen. I talk to people on the phone, and I talk to them, and I can hear the energy, and then I speak to them that way, which is normal. I listen to the voice. The vibrational voice can tell you the same thing. Okay. But I've had an older man, guy was, I was 40, and this guy was in his late 60s, and he's, I remember coming to my house, and he has his arms crossed like this. He goes, "Okay, read me." Yeah, read me. Go ahead, read me. And I thought to myself, why are you here? If you cross your arms, you're just basically, either you're challenging me, or with an ego. I said, if you really want to get a reading, sit quietly and just sit back and relax. I'll tell you. You don't have to go, "Come on, read me." You don't have to do that. So I said, "Let your arms go down, and I'll read you." So he dropped his arms slowly, and he sat there, and then I started reading him, and he's like, "What?" And his wife was there, sitting next to him. She didn't say a word. And his wife was there, and he looked at his wife, and he said to her, "You told him, didn't you?" And she goes, "What? You told him already about me?" She goes, "No, I don't. I met him for the first time just now." "No, you must have called him ahead of time and told him about me, things about me." "No." She said, "But how does he know?" Maybe because Spirit wanted you to know. But she knew, she understood what I was talking about. I, when you read people, there's days you can have a really clear reading about people. You can tell them things, they would really enjoy it. Then I don't want to put people through trauma or drama. I like to show people the greatest things in the world that they can have, that things can happen for them. We, like, we're not here to, a lot of people say, "I don't want to hear the bad stuff." The first thing they'll have fear of, "I don't want to hear the bad stuff." You won't hear the bad stuff. That's gypsy stuff, guys. The gypsies love to tell you bad stuff. Try not to bring up the subject of bad. I don't want to hear the bad stuff. I don't want to hear the negative things. You're not going to hear the negative things. I'm going to tell you what you're dealing with and how to fix it. That's what I do. My job is to show you what you're dealing with now and how you can fix it to better it. Because our lives is not to go through into a doldrum and pain and suffering. Our lives are meant to go through a uplifting of ourselves and do better. Okay? That's what this whole thing is all about. All to do with uplifting ourselves. But for some reason, people still believe that we have to be suffering. Why? Why do we have to believe, they have to believe that we have to suffer? That's society. That's where our churches, the church leaders, they want you to believe that you got to suffer. Our governments want you to believe we have to suffer. Anybody's a corporation wants you to believe that we have to suffer. Okay, and sometimes you get the odd family member that maybe has a disliking for each other, or even people that don't like you, they want to see you suffer. Why? Why do they want to see you suffer? The jealousy of you, envious of you, that sort of thing can happen sometimes. That's exactly, we were not meant to suffer in this world. But if we allow ourselves to suffer, it is our free will. Okay? I tell people, try not to let yourself go into that place that you get so depressed that you seem to somehow can't get out of it. Okay, and that's exactly what happens. Okay. Keith is okay. Night, Keith. See you later. Um, Now, Catherine says, here's one here. Catherine says, and there are days the universe does not wish to someone with the telepathy are not supposed to see. Timing is everything. Um, I can't say the word timing is everything. It's just basically, it's no, it's, I knew very well that if I told her stuff, she would not have been prepared to be ready for it. And because I could have came from a male point of view and not a female. And that's also because some women have a difficulties for a man to tell them a reading compared to the same sex from a person get, like, say a woman speaks to a woman, get a reading compared to a man telling her, so to speak. So that happens sometimes, and that's probably she may not have been ready to listen to me. She wants to believe in it, that sort of thing. Yeah, city halls where you get licensed, and how do you prove it to them if you're not allowed to read for, okay. And how do you prove it to them if you're not allowed to read for people? No, you can go to City Hall and tell them that you want a license if you want to be a reader, and you're good at that, Eki. Yeah, if you're doing a conference, they'll tell you, look up your bylaws, your bylaws in Manitoba, unless they removed it. But when I was there back in the early 2006 or 7, yeah, 2006 or 7, 2007, I think, that's 13, 14 years ago I was there. I was 2013. Last time I was there, 2013. And before that, 2007. I was there twice. So I did a conference before that, and I did Marlborough Hotel in 2013. I was there for 18 days in 2007. I was doing the courses, I was teaching psychic development, that sort of thing. And then through the church, through the spiritualist church. And then I was there 2013 for the paranormal conference. We were there for the 4 days at the Marlborough Hotel. That's where we were. We investigated that place, which is very haunted, by the way. Yeah, I could go for it. Just take it, girl. You're good at what you do. Absolutely. I've seen your skills. You're good at it. Just keep on doing what you're doing. So, okay, Linda asks, will spirit only let you know what the client is supposed to hear and not what they don't want told? No. Spirit wants you to know everything. I mean, they're not judgmental. They're not going to prevent you from learning anything. They want you to learn lots of stuff. Myself as a reader, I will spend the time. Sometimes I'll go over my time with the clients, make sure that they understand what I'm trying to say. Because I tell my wife, it could be an hour reading, and yet sometimes I'll spend an hour and 15 minutes more, or say another 15 more minutes. But I want them to clearly understand why or what the story means or what I'm trying to get through. So because I want them to walk out happy and say, okay, now I understand, now I know what you mean. Because if you walk away, like I've had the odd person say to me, Derek, I remember you gave me that reading, and I still walked away kind of confused, kind of figure out what to think. And yet I thought, maybe he's crazy. And I find out later, 5 years later, you told me it was going to happen, and it did. So my predictions do happen. It's just that it's timing, when it'll happen. Even earlier tonight, when I mentioned about the money, I know it's going to happen. I swore it was going to be that year. Now, that was not prediction of the year, but that's what I was told. We're supposed to have happened at the time for us to receive that money. Every one of us in this chat room, folks, by the way, everyone's going to happen across the world. But again, it's timing. I didn't know when. Now I'm told that it's going to be not too long from now. I'm not going from years and years and years. This is going to be not too long from now. It's just that everything is all set into timing. We had to get rid of all the bad guys first, and the good things begin to happen. I will say we're going to coming up into that story in a few minutes. So, near-death experiences. I want to bring this up. Um, there are people that actually go through near-death experiences. They become one of the most fantastic readers ever because, say, you had a minor concussion, um, or a jolt in a car accident, um, by other means of a near-death experience, in a coma, out of a coma. And then you're fully awake, but yet all of a sudden you get your senses are crazy, going like right out of whack. It's because you've opened up the pineal gland. That pineal gland starts to really start showing you all the elemental things that can happen in your life. You start seeing colors, you start seeing auras, you start seeing getting visions and dreams and stories. Spirit talks to you through your time you're in a coma. There's always different ways of things that happen in people's lives that people don't realize how and what it does for them. So we all go through different varieties of near-death experiences, NDEs. I've had my 3 times in my life that I've actually had it happen. The most traumatic time was when I rolled my truck and I was told that it was my time to go. But I guess my dad gave me, for my 18th birthday, my father gave me a 1964 Ford truck. It was a 1964, 4 on the floor, stick shift on the floor. 4 on the floor, no seatbelt in this thing. Back in those years, we didn't have seatbelts. This is back in the 70s. I turned 18, and I was smoking back then. I started to smoke. I had to drive into town from the farm into town. I had to drive 3 miles on a gravel road into town, and then go get my cigarettes. Spent about an hour away or so. Meet up with some of my friends at the store. Grab my smokes and heading back. As I'm heading back, my dad did give me a warning. My father told me, slow down on the gravel road because the truck is out 20 miles. That means that if I'm going 50 miles, it's going 70. I didn't think about that. I just love to drive behind the wheel. Now, even though I got my 18th birthday, got a truck for my birthday, but I've been driving since I was 14. On the field in the farm. So I knew how to drive a long time ago. I've driven 3-ton trucks. I learned about driving tractors since I was a kid. I mean, I was already behind the wheel long before they even said you have to have a license. So, but anyways, on the gravel road back then, on that day going into town, there was not much gravel on the road. It's mostly a hard gravel, like a hard mud, like it was all hardened, so it was dry. And as you're driving on the highway, you can see the smoke, like you see all the dust and dirt, like dust, when you're driving down in town. And I guess at the time, which I did not know, they poured freshly new gravel on that road. And as I was driving halfway home, I skidded sideways, and then I had no control of the wheel and went into the ditch sideways and flipped my truck sideways, and it flew up off the ground, like it flipped over. And I remember seeing someone in my truck look like a person I saw, or I thought I saw. My door on my driver's side opened up and someone pushed me out. I hit the dirt, I hit the grass, not the dirt, hit the ground. My truck still flew over me, and there was a telephone pole. It hit the telephone pole. I was already on the ground. It hit the roof of my side as a driver's side, crushed the roof, came back down onto the ground, past me, rolled over sideways one more time, landed on its wheels. The door was wide open on the driver's side. Now, when I got up off the ground, about maybe 10, 15 minutes later, because I was like, ouch. And I think I passed out. I wasn't sure, but it knocked the crap out of me. Got up on my feet, staggered to the truck, and I thought, oh my God, my dad's going to kill me. Because now the roof of the truck on the driver's side was caved in. I wouldn't have survived it if I was still in the truck. I wouldn't have survived it. And but the passenger side was still up, so the roof was angled. Okay, passenger side is normal, was fine, but the driver's side was crushed. So I had to. I was crazy me. Now, you remember, folks, this is a 4 on the floor standard truck, standard driving, not an electric, not an automatic. This is actually standard vehicle. So I get into the passenger side, open the door, slid myself over. This is how smart I got. Slid over, turned the truck over, no problem, turned over. And I put my foot on the clutch and the gas and backed myself out of the ditch, backing up out of the ditch onto the gravel road. And then I moved forward slowly until I got to the farm, turned in, and then there was my parking spot about another 25 more feet. I turned off the key, pulled my feet off the clutch and the brake, and it stopped. I got out of the truck. Now, in the meantime, it's there. Okay. I came out of the truck. Now, my mother's coming running out of the house from one side. My dad's coming running out of the barn from the other side. He goes, "What the hell? What happened?" And I said, "Well, Dad, I rolled the truck. And I'm so sorry." And now my dad said to me out loud, he said, "I'm so happy that my son made it. I don't care about the truck as long as you're okay. I can replace the truck, but I can't replace my son." That's my father's words. And he ran up to me and hugged me. He said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes." So Mom comes running up to me. Now I had some blood on my forehead. And I guess my mom runs up to me. She had a tea towel in her hand, and now the tea towel was dry, not wet, dry. My mother, she's licking the tea towel because there's no water, and she's trying to get all the blood off me to think that it's gone, like, to get off my forehead, see whether any cuts. She couldn't find any cuts, but yet the blood's coming out of my forehead. Found out later that from a lady friend of mine, this is called stigmata. And she told me after, when I told about my accident, and I said, "There's blood coming out of my forehead, but there's no cuts there." And she's just seeping. And she said, "That's called stigmata. It's called the resurrection of the Christ." She said, "You survived the accident. You weren't supposed to be there. That was your time to leave. You were supposed to die in a truck accident, in that accident." And she was right, because that's where Jesus said to me, "Is my time to go." But I didn't know what the plan was. So I made that decision, and they helped me live through it, because Jesus said to me, "I'll call upon you when I need you." And he did call upon me when he needed me after, years later. So I I went through, like, people, I didn't go through, I wasn't an easy life for me to go through what I went through. I went through it. Angels are for life. Angels are life, says Derek. After government targeting affecting the pineal gland, how does a person clear that gland, both medically and metaphysically? Any recommendations from you and spirit? Well, they did say, if you want to do a cleansing of the pineal gland, there's actually herbal items that you can use to cleanse your pineal gland. Okay, and that will help you a lot to clarify, to actually clean it. Because what our government is trying to do was actually trying to shut off even people like us. They didn't want us to actually have the ability to read people. I mean, they'll give us a little bit of that movement, but they try to give you chemically based foods so they can try to shut down the pineal gland. That's the reason why you're getting the in the arm to shut down the pineal gland, because that was the first snake bite was to shut down your pineal gland. That's why people said they're getting brain fog. Okay, that's called brain fog. That was part of the pineal gland. So the second snake bite was to start to create clots. Okay, and some people can handle it. Others were far more ahead of it. They were just eating regular making certain kind of special drinks from fruits like grapefruit and lemons. You mix them all up and you make yourself a nice drink, and that cleans up the system inside of you at the same time. And there's actually other kinds of vegetables and fruits that you can take, you combine them together, herbs, and you can make yourself a wonderful pineal gland cleanser. If you want to know anything more about it, I can share that with you guys on Telegram. They have that available, the recipe for that. I can go there and grab it. If you guys are asking, you can always ask me after on the page, message me and let me know, ask me about that, and I can send you the recipe. Also, yeah, well, Catherine says stop using fluoride toothpaste. That is the fluoride toothpaste is basically what it does is to weaken your heart, and also messes with your functions in your body as well. It's the fluoride. It's fluoride's in everything. I mean, they put fluoride in everything, including your water. So why would anybody want to buy Ontario water and it's fluoridated? Okay, if you look on your bottled water, your bottled water should say water. Why should it say ingredients on a water bottle? Read it. Read it closely, folks. Your water bottle should not say ingredients. It should say water. That's it. Nothing more. If it's ozonated, wonderful. But ingredients on there, it tells you what it's doing. No, if it says fluoride, don't drink it. I'm serious, because what they put in there also as well is to wanting to make you, because once you drink that one bottle of fluoridated water, you're craving another bottle. It makes you want to drink more. It's like putting in the same thing with pop. Your Pepsis, your Cokes, they put something in it to make you want to drink more. Why would you want to keep on drinking more? Why are people sleeping in the middle of the night and they have a big bottle of Pepsi and Coke by their bedside, and they have to wake up middle of the night to take a sip of that because they think they need it? Why? Because there's something in it that they have. It's like a cigarette. You get the addiction and you keep on drinking it because your body thinks it needs it. They put it in the drinks. They put it in your tobacco. Okay, not the natural grown tobacco. It's in the filter tips. Okay, they will create ways to get you to come back to McDonald's. They found ways to get you to come back to these other fast food places. They put something in it to make you want to come back and eat more of it. They say, oh, it's very tasty. Why would you call it tasty? It should taste like beef. No, nobody says it tastes like beef. It says tastes like it's tasty. Think about it. A real, true beef burger should taste like an Angus beef burger. I've had burgers before, and I tried to make McDonald's many years ago, and I can tell what is beef and what was not. And I said, no, this burger that from McDonald's, and I had, like, I'm raised in the farm, so I know what beef tastes like. And they're saying, oh, this is beef burger. No, it's not. It's something else, guys. And I didn't like it. To me, it tastes like it was sour. It didn't taste like, oh, no, it's beef. No, it's not. It's fresh. No, it's not. Check it out. I'm not just focusing on McDonald's. I'm talking about other restaurants. Always check. Make sure it's 100% Angus beef or anything else that you want to order. Okay. Make sure it's, and then that they say, well, we have salmon sandwiches or the salmon burgers. Okay. Where the salmon come from? Farmed salmon? Or is it coming from someone else that pretends to be salmon? Or is it a fish burger? Okay. Sometimes a fish burger is what? What is that fish? Where is it from? Okay. You're going to find out, ask them, okay, well, this is supposed to be a fish burger, but what is the fish that's in that burger or fish sandwich? What's in that fish? What is it? What is the fish you're eating? Am I eating haddock? Am I eating something else? Trout? I don't know what it is. It looks like, well, it's white meat. Oh, are you sure it's white meat? Because you can mix up anything and make it look like white meat. They put dyes in food in fish to make it look like it's supposed to be, right? So they do the same thing with salmon. They'll change the color of salmon to make it look like salmon. There's natural, wild. Make sure it looks. You have to look for it real carefully, folks. When you see the word wild salmon, that's true salmon. If it looks, the color looks different, that's farmed salmon. You don't want farmed salmon because there's a lot of not nice stuff inside of it. And I've seen them actually. And these people, these butchers, know how to change the colors to say it's fresh. Not the greatest. Find your farmers, find your fishermen, go to them directly. Okay, this is better for you. You feel a lot healthier and better. If you don't have to go to restaurants, don't. If you're going to a or even a fast food restaurant, don't go there. If it's going to be a family-owned restaurant, then go. They'll tell you what they got they're cooking. They're not afraid. Okay. Diane says soybean red dye burgers. Yes, they're. I mean, they mix. I mean, for years and years and years, they made soy sauce for your rice. Comes from Asian countries. But it was meant for just that only. But for some reason, someone decided to say, "Hey, let's make this into this and add this and this and this," and they're just all they are. What the soy is for is to replace. They're called fillers. Okay, it's filler. Just to take what they're trying to do is and take away they're taking away a full course meal of a good sized burger, and they add the soy to it as a filler to make it look thicker. But yet, when you cook it on, let's put it this way: when you put a real true burger, on your frying pan or on your barbecue, when it's the size of a burger, it should look like the size of a burger. But when you're getting it from a store that is, they say they made it themselves, and you put it on your barbecue or on your frying pan, you notice your burger's half that size after you start cooking it. Why would it shrink? Because they put so much moisture in it and it shrinks. There's too much water in it. They mix up the water. There's actually a moisture filler to make your burger look big, but yet when you finally eat it, it's dense. It looks like a small little tiny black patty, and there's no taste. So you got to look very carefully to make sure that you know what is correct and where that meat come from. Right? Okay. Next, we want to talk about angels. We spoke about that a little bit. We also have people talk about the negative sense of the angels too. Make sure you have your bad angels and your good angels. There has always been a battle of angels for years. Okay, we talked when God had his confrontation dealing with. I mean, I don't have to go big deep in the story on that one. I'm not going to go there right now because too much of that. That goes into an impact of religion. Now, let's go into we are getting a lot of readers, a lot of mediums or readers that are make predictions regarding politicians, predictions about who's going to win politics, predictions in who's going to get this and who get that. I had a falling out with a very close friend. I didn't fall out. He did with me. We were good friends for a long, long time. And then when and he said that he predicted that JB was going to be the next president. And I said, well, no, he won't be. And he goes, yes, he is. And I said, no, he won't. He was so mad at me. And he says to me, and JB was supposed to be, the fake one was selected. And he said, see, I told you he got elected. I said, no, that's not the real one. The real one's gone. That's a fake one. And he got mad at me, and he basically blocked me. Okay, you're crazy. He blocked me. And I thought, buddy, you should have been awake. You should know better. And I tell lots of readers, a lot of psychics and mediums, please understand, the real, true readers are the ones that are awakened. Spirit will come to you and tell you exactly what's going on. But if you want to believe what the media tells you, and I've seen so many, and I mean no disrespect to any of the readers, there's some really good readers out there, but sometimes readers can also be misled. And I got some good friends that are readers, but they all can get misled because they believe the hype in the media. And I'm telling those out there now, those who watch me that are in that field, you are being duped. You're believing what the media tells you. Don't pay attention to any of that. I know myself exactly who is and who's not. And the only way you're going to find out the truth, ask me, or do your own research. Because if you want to believe the hype that they tell you what to believe, and sure, you may think, it breaks my heart that I have to lose so many friends. It does. It breaks my heart that I have to let go of what some of my friends that don't want to listen to me or to believe what I'm trying to point out, trying to share. But there are some really, um, how do you say it? Evil people trying to mislead you or to mislead you. And our commander in chief is trying to show you, says, do your research. You are now the truth tellers. You're the ones that, Sarah, long time no see. Hey, hey. Um, you need to start to look and do your own research. Like when I share, if I'm sharing anything with people, I'm showing you the truth. I'm showing you what's going on. And it's to protect you, is to show you not to fall for the crap that's happening out there today. It's just a show. It is an act. It's a circus. They're just trying to show you what's really going on. But all the bad guys have already been taken care of. They've already cleaned up. They've already cleaned up the swamp, pretty well most of it. And we're just sitting here waiting for the next thing. We have to go through it. Why does everybody still have to wait longer? Because there's a few more people still have not been caught, and they've already caught a few more. That some of them are actually still in secret. So when I was young, and this is the only way I can say this to you guys. When I was a kid, I saw things that didn't make sense to me. That I saw people hurting. I saw people dying. I was traumatized by it. I saw shootings. I saw horrible stuff. I saw people being like, I remember one time someone sent me a letter, or not a letter, but a message, and saying to me, oh, so and so died, they committed suicide. And my mom was there, and they said, no, they didn't. They didn't commit suicide. They're still alive. Or I remember the first time when John F. Kennedy was supposed to be assassinated. My mom said this, no, he's not dead. He's still alive. She said, he's got a body double. His body double died, not him, not the real JFK. He's still alive. My mom said this. And then when it came to John F. Kennedy Jr., Mom says, nope, he's still alive. He was replaced by someone else. It said Diane, Princess Diane. No, she never died. She was replaced with somebody else. She was rescued. Elvis Presley died. No, he was replaced with someone else. He was rescued. And I thought to myself, why were they all rescued? Because they're all related. And they're part of a special forces to expose the truth. And we're in the middle of it. We're the witnesses, and they've everybody, all these 4 people plus more, 900 plus, have been in protective custody, live on elsewhere in other places. They're special forces, they were special military unit before they became famous actors, actresses, singers, entertainers, you name it, in the field, politicians, you name it, are there. They're still with us. They're going to come forward not too long from now, and they're going to show you why this all became what it is. I didn't feel that Elvis had passed away. I for some reason, like, I trusted my mom, and I remember the time that when they mentioned the news that he passed away, I went, I don't know, like, this feeling is not there. He's not gone. But again, when I read his crypt, one letter was added to his name. That was a key to let you know he's still alive. Now, why was he still alive? Operation, I can't say, fountain pen. There's so many things out there that us readers and people see, and we foresaw things. And I knew then that our future is going to go through some major transition changes and shifts. It's surprising, and even my wife doesn't want to believe some of the things that I see. Doesn't want to, and she knows very well that whatever I see, it happens, because she sees the TV. I don't. I don't trust there. All I enjoy is FYIs and houses and watching what the cops do. Bad boys are going to catch you. Those type of things. Watching the Rangers catch some bad boys that are hunting. There's always something. I love watching DIYs. Renovating your house. That's pretty well it. Or watch a movie. Gives you a little bit of that thrift and feeling that you're behind them. Helps you understand about mysteries, how to solve mysteries. And basically I tell people this is the Great Awakening. This is the most biggest awakening for all of us. Absolutely all of us. Everyone. Like, I ask you guys to share this with everybody. Everyone. Try not to be stuck in the past. Try not to be stuck in the beliefs of what the media tells you or what they're saying, because they are there specifically to lie to you. JT, okay, our fake prime minister, had said let's put it this way, the real JT said when he was actually at a meeting, he was doing a city meeting with a whole bunch of public, and he said that he would love to be a dictator. He admired how China controls their own people, and that he wanted to be just like them. And that was back in 2017. 2018 comes by, 2019 comes by, July 19th, 2019. This man gets arrested and taken away by the military. Take Guantanamo Bay. Does not come back. But before he was taken away, he had a monitor on his ankle. That's why he was wearing fancy socks. Okay, really colorful looking socks to distract you. Because if he wore white socks or black socks, and you say, "Oh, what's that bulging thing sticking out of his ankle?" Later on, he had the ankle part was replaced, and they put in thing in the arm to make sure that they can find him, tracking system. And they had him around for a while until it's time to take him away with his birth father, Fidel, and they got both taken away to GITMO. And in June 2020, gone. Left us. Next thing you know, comes back, there's a man wearing a goatee. Looks just like him, but he's got something under the neck. But he looked like he's wearing a mask because it looks like a little sleeve-ish piece moving in there. And it's a voice monitor, basically what it is, it's a voice modulator. So it modulates the voice, the sound of who Trudeau is. First of all, he would never, how can he be a clean-shaven man leaving, go there, comes back in a matter of not even a week, and he's got a full beard, like a full goatee. No one even paid attention to that. That's when we had the lockdown. Nobody paid attention to that. 1 week later, it was also in full goatee. You can't grow that in a week. No way. And then the next couple of weeks, he comes back and there's no goatee. He's a lot skinnier. He's got a bald head cut like this, really short. No hair. Like really, really short hair. And he's even skinnier. And he sounds like a munchkin. Taller, skinnier. Maybe about 25 pounds or 30 pounds lesser. Weight. So he's running around, has no idea what to say or do, but he's pretending to be, me, like he's a little Muppet. And then a couple weeks later, we get another one coming out. More hair, lots of hair, swaying to the side, curly hair, don't give a shit about people, blah, 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 blah. Didn't even know how to speak French. People said, hi, hello, how are you? Long time no see. And he didn't even know who they were. And these are people that were once his friends. He didn't even know them. But he pretended he did. Oh, hi, nice to see you. But that's it. He could not carry on the conversation because they had said that's not the real Trudeau. You see what I mean? Now we have the fifth one. This is the fifth one. It's in Parliament. This one keeps running away all the time because he's not a PM. He's just there to be annoying, as he's supposed to be. In Parliament, okay, in Parliament, we have, we use that word lightly. Parlia means parlay, means we're parlay. If you remember what the word parlay means a meeting. Parlia, ament means like we're in a room having a meeting in a mental institution. Okay, bunch of people yakking and yakking and yakking, and they have this person in the center telling people what to do. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker. Why are they talking to Mr. Speaker? Why can't you guys talk back and forth? And then Mr. Speaker, if he doesn't agree or she doesn't agree what you're saying, oh, you need to apologize. Apologize for what? But yet Mr. Speaker is always on the liberal side protecting them. Oh, you can't say that. Okay? Back and forth. We are not, and everyone needs to know this, and I want to let you know this, Sarah. If you don't know, you're going to know now. Our country is no longer Canada. Never was since 1985. We've been bankrupt since 1985. Our country, as of 2016 or 17, we have now been merged. Our country has merged with the United States and Mexico, as well as Australia and New Zealand, 5 countries, and it's been signed. It is official under military law. It's been signed. It's international law. Our country now we're a North American country, are all one. We become one complete country. So, United States, Canada, and Mexico, all one country. So is New Zealand and Australia. We're no longer called Canada. That's a temporary name. We're Canadian, and we're also American, and we're also part of Mexico. Now, why has this not been announced to the public yet? It's because the public still has to see the truth, and they will know that more because they have to see the bullshit. Okay, you still have to witness the bullshit. People say, well, how come Trump isn't taking over or hasn't saying, well, I'm still the president, because Trump is still the president, by the way. He's our commander-in-chief. He's been our commander-in-chief for a long, long time. He's the one who's trying to show you guys the falsehood, not of his side, the falsehood of all what's going around him. The real Biden's been gone for 4 years now. He was taken out, like bye-bye. There's actually a an obituary of Joe Biden, and it says he died in Guantanamo Bay. There's actually an obituary. It shows that he passed away 4 or 5 years ago. And yet nobody wanted to believe it. Nobody wanted to believe it. And there's actually have been 3 actors that's played him now for I don't know how long. Same with the vice president. She's been replaced. They're all actors. Every one of them are just doubles, body doubles. No, actually, no. He has not been pro-vax. Here's the thing. He was missing, like what he did. And you guys are missing that part. When he said pro-vax, before he was pro-vax, he burnt down all of the factories that actually was making the bad medicine. Okay, he burned them down. The military went out there and destroyed them all. God, wasp. Because everything was actually just the vax. Anything that you say is da-da-da-da-da. There's nothing there. It's wata. Nothing in there now can harm you. It's been replaced. So, and also too, when he was making sure that no one got hurt. Yes, we did lose some people, a lot of people, but that was before he was able to warn anyone. He did not know how horrible it really was. That when he found out what it was doing, how much damage was done, he said, "We got to kill this. We got to get rid of this now." And that's what he did. There is the Moderna factory was burnt down, the J&J, everything, like every factory that was destroyed, and yet, how come it was never announced by the mainstream media? Because every politician paid the mainstream media not to tell the truth and not to share the story. I've seen the videos of these sick locations that have been burnt down. There's nothing that's going to be out there. Even Trudeau had the audacity before he was taken away, had the audacity to buy the Moderna for Canada. He bought all the Modernas, and he was going to make his money by trying to tell people you got to keep on doing this, just continue on doing this. That's when they arrested him, and they took care of that Moderna part, and now it's gone. Even if you look at your sponsorship, folks, on TV and your hockey games, your sports games, it says sponsored by Moderna. Why? Why is Moderna the only company who's a sponsor? That was a warning signal. That was a warning signal. Don't do it. Even in the Olympics, sponsored by Moderna. What? Don't do it. So, again, it's just that I've learned a lot from the military, from other intel I got, that I'm able to share. That, I mean, I know very well that YT possibly may take this whole thing down, but what I'm trying to show you guys, and this is all to do with predictions, we are doing better now than ever before, and there is, and here's what's coming up next. We're talking about the MED-BEDs, okay? They're here. They're coming. Now, I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to bring it in. Let me pull it up. Where is he? Let's see. Let's bring in that story. I want you guys to hear this because this is coming from real people. I had it in here. Where did I put it? EBS? No. Hang on. So I'll do this. Okay, go with E again. Category E. And B, E. Where are you, bud? He sent this to me today. Okay. Let's put it over here so I can see it better. I got 3 screens on my computer, so that's why it's so. Looking straight ahead, I can see better. Okay, Nasara, not yet. He told me about it, or sent me this, and I went, OMG. I mean, they've talked about this for a long time, but they mentioned it now. It's so close. The Q phones are here coming up. And the Jasara quantum phones and the Starlink network powered by Stellar blockchain, they're coming up. Quantum revolution is in the digital age where innovation knows no bounds. Quantum Q phones are poised to take center stage. These cutting edge devices come preloaded with a Stellar wallet, the gateway to unlocking the treasure of the Golden Economic Security and Reformation Act, the Jasara, including the Universal Basic Income, UBI distribution. Stellar, the blockchain based digital currency, is set to revolutionize the way we transact. And how do quantum phones and Stellar come together in this cosmic dance of technology? I knew the Starlink is here. They've already. That's the reason why we had some shutdowns and stuff for a while there, because they were recalibrating the power. I just saw it today. What did I do? I messed with it. I have my page on Telegram, guys, and people love to send messages through my page, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. So there's listings. So I go into my friend called E, and he brings tells you what's going on. Like, he's part of the military. Can't say much on that part. Where are we here? Yeah, he at least calls out pedophiles and to hold people accountable. I feel is very. You know what here's what's going to happen once he is selected back in, and let's put it this way: Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to be on his wall now, and he's bringing alternative health in. So that's telling you now. In fact, Junior said the med beds are here. So this is it's all coming in now. The whole thing is coming into full tuition. So it's all beginning now for every one of you guys to say, okay, now is the time. We're so close to the end of the year. We don't have to wait until the next year. It's going to be telling you what's coming. But we had to do this carefully, so then the bad guys don't say, hey, you can't do that because you can't, people say, well, how come we don't have access to the med beds for a long time ago? There was a friend of mine, Daniel Brinkley. He wrote in his book back in 1984, Saved by the Light. He wrote in it that he predicted from his near-death experience, he got hit by lightning. And he said that after he was hit by lightning, he predicted that he saw, as a remote viewer, he saw these beds are made of light and they'll be used to heal people. He said this back in 1984. And so today, those are called the med beds. There's four different kinds that are used specifically to work on different modalities of the process of the body to heal, to work on. So one is through the energy shifting, psychological, mental, spiritual, and then there's the physical. There is the restructure of the body, and then the other ones actually do with age. You can actually timeline your age. If you want to go back to being 40, and say you're 60 or 70, you can go back to 40. You can go back to being younger again, and looking younger, losing the weight, being healthier, anything to do with illnesses that are uncurable, that will be taken care of as well through these med beds. I know I have it here. What I will have to do is, no, it's already been past that. See, they've already found 10,000 deep underground military bases. So these are actually the and not these particular type of military bases were there long before Trump, and they were made specifically for human trafficking. So what Trump had done, all his special forces, he has over a million special forces went down there all over the world and cleaned them out, flooded them out, burned them out, you name it, the whole 9 yards. Captured a lot of people, took people out. A lot of these soldiers gave their lives to, and that wasn't, they weren't just fighting against regular people or human traffickers. They actually battled aliens and reptilians. It was big. It was bigger than you think. So they said there's over 10,000 DUMBs around the world. The U.S. has 1,800 of them. It's not a simple job to fix this. KILL, this, take control, weapons, WMDs, bio facilities, clone factories, engineered super soldiers. Again, KILL, switch, traps, etc. Faith. 7.7 billion people on Earth, 0.2% super elites, 540,000 million, 1% elite, 77 million elites, 10%, 770 million military.cia across the world, 3-letter agencies in some countries, corrupted police, news station, managers, militias, organizations, mercs, underground, black water, soldiers, corrupt doctors, lawyers, scientists, officials, pharmaceutical companies, big tech industries, all over 190 countries around the world. And so there's over 800 million forces and divided military in many countries inside the dark web of the global control to the elites. I've never been to the dark web. I have no idea. It's a big job. Soldiers, people, whistleblowers are dying to try to save you and atone the world from 1400 year control Khazarian bloodline, the year 1400, which are against the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and world banks. Vatican, old control on 70 nations. XXX, Obama, which we've been talking about Obama, Gates, Bush's CCP, and so on. The white hats, MIL, are trying their best to keep the DEATH counts down. Buckle up, they're actually saying to you. Buckle up, events, not dates. No whining and crying. Stop fighting amongst yourselves. It serves no purpose. So they're basically pointing out they're taking care of it while we're at home. But we need to support our soldiers, our veterans, because our veterans now are being recalled back into service if they want to go back. Why they recall them back to service? Because they're asking for our help to work with them. So this is, like I said before, folks, this is bigger than anyone can actually expect. So the executive order 13848, executive order 13818, okay? So that's imposing, and 13848 is imposing certain sanctions in event of foreign interference in the United States election. And executive order 13818, blocking in the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. Okay, so since the White Hats own the BlackRock owns CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike took down internet. White Hats orchestrated outage. CrowdStrike is linked to Dominion, which basically Trudeau, they're talking about the elections because Trudeau actually, or Dominion elections actually was in Canada here, by the way. Dominion linked to election fraud. Okay, Trudeau was involved, and so was George Soros and his family. CrowdStrike had servers in the Ukraine, and you wonder how Trump knew. Trump, 45 to 47, has it all. Remember, BRICS plus was architected by Trump and the White Hats. That means they're there to protect. And they captured BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, JP Morgan, and all central banks. First, White Hat took over the Fed, then Twitter 1.0, then BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, and more. Then we used BlackRock to shove over to top ESG down everyone's throats to awaken them. So there's more. I can keep on going. I don't want to go crazy over it, but I'm showing you guys here. This is military intel. This is a little bit of intel. This is showing you that it has happened, and that's why I want to bring this up, because we're doing better than you think, right? Yeah. I think it's 1984, Saved by the Light or Danny Brinkley. I think it was 1984. Okay, 1984. Yeah, one of the two. But he wrote Saved by the Light, At Peace with the Light. I think he wrote 3 books on that one. And I actually was Danny Brinkley's bodyguard one day of the year, 1 year. So, yeah, he's a really cool guy. Nice person. You love him. So anyways, I just want to bring this up for you guys. I know that YT probably will take me down because I just talked about a few things they don't want to hear. Oh boy, pardon me. Okay. Anyways, to a completion of this. That's why they call it the New World Order at the beginning. There's also predictions to be made. My predictions, and I will say with my predictions, we're doing better than we are. And overall, we're going to do fine. We just have to be prepared for it. Not to be scared, because we are the ones needed now. Trump loves us. Trump wants us to share as much as we can to help each other out. But we are the helpers. Okay, he's not our handler. We help him. We help others to see the truth and know the truth. There are some great things going to happen in this world. We just have to trust it. He's showing us, like he says, like Trump said one time, he says, "Don't follow me. I'm just there to help you. You need to see it your way. I'm just there to give you a push." So he's not telling you what to do. He's showing you. Here's what I'm hearing, Mike, because his job, he's the commander-in-chief of a military force. Okay, that's well known. He's actually under the military commander-in-chief over 1 million soldiers. Okay, so our creator is the leader. He's just there to help. That's all he's there for. He's just helped to show you, see the light, know the light, trust the light. We don't have to follow. So we're, like my wife said, even today, she said that even the hospitals are talking about telling by the mid-September, she said, I think they want everybody to start wearing masks again. No. Why? Well, the big C's coming back again. No, it's not. If you want to capitulate, that's your choice. Nothing's mandatory. You can actually say, no, I won't accept this. Because they're trying to make it where people have to do this all the time. It's ridiculous. So, no, the lesser the hospital visits, the better you are. Stay healthy. Right? Crystals. Start carrying one for a while, like once in a while. I love mine. This is my new one. I have smoky quartz. Woo! And I like hanging on to it. This is a nice little smoky quartz. I make this one into a healing tool for a staff, for someone. Maybe it can, maybe it's a walking stick. Never know, I might do that. So, but crystals and stones they've been around for a long, long time. They help balance your energy. I'm wearing one around my neck right now. You guys can see that one. Okay, I've had this one for years. That one there. Okay. Um, so they're all very important to all of us, and all these are very important for us to wear. And you don't have to be specific any ethnic background. Just wear them. Crystals are important. They help. Having a clear crystal helps align your energy, keeps you focused. Smoky quartz protects you from anything that's negative, right? Nothing darkness, nothing negative. It just helps keep you focused. Again, you're going to do fine. A lot of us are do fine. Okay, let's have a chat. Let's see. Have a look at some of the people's their comments are saying YouTube is buffering. Yes, people don't believe me when I tell them that we're a part of the Republic. Yes. Does anyone else think they may have um, killed Jack Layton? Yes, I believe Jack Layton was taken out, and his wife was involved. How does she become the mayor? Was it the mayor? Yeah. How did she become the mayor of Ontario? Is she mayor of Ontario? Yeah. How did she become the mayor of Ontario? I think it was a mayor or some sort of position. How all of a sudden she took over, and there was another young man who actually was trying to be the mayor, and suddenly they kicked him out. They took him away from being mayor, and they put him behind bars while she got in, and nobody voted for her. She was just placed there. Like, what the hell, right? Jack Layton was exposing people. That's the reason why they took him out. He seemed like a genuine guy, and it seems suspicious looking back, leading up to what's going on now. Right, you're right, Jesse. That's exactly what happened. Jack Layton was actually exposing people, and when we had the Truth and Reconciliation apology from uh, PM Harper, Harper was talking through the side of his mouth, just like Gretchen, and they weren't telling the truth. They didn't give a crap because Harper said, "I don't know why I'm doing here." And in fact, so Layton covered his ass. Layton said that wasn't good enough, and Layton came in and spoke up, and he cried. He was literally in tears because he felt so bad for the Indigenous people for what went through. I was actually at the Truth and Reconciliation myself back in 2008, so having to see him what he did, having to speak up for the people across the land, made Harper look really bad. And then they knew then that they had to get rid of him real quick. That he was too, because he wanted to become prime minister, and they had to get rid of him very fast. So that's suddenly. I remember that like 2 weeks ago. Before that, he was healthy looking. Next thing you know, he's skinny as a freaking rail. So he didn't look like he was healthy at all. Crazy part of it was I saw a guy in Maple Ridge that looked exactly like a twin to Jack Layton. I swore that was Jack Layton. I said, "Man, you got a body double. You look like Jack Layton." He said, "I know, people keep on telling me that. Look just like him, talk like him." And I thought to myself, maybe Jack Layton is alive. You never know, right? Because sometimes people still have to be under protection because they knew too much. Think about it. Let's see who else we got here. Let's see. Okay. Does anyone think they? Okay, okay, Linda. We need to pray for these forces who are saving the world. Send them our love. Yes. Help them out. Give them support. It's important, guys. Okay. Thank you, Diane. Nice to see you, Diane and Linda, Jesse, Keith, Angels Our Life. A lot of people come in the room tonight, both rooms. Yeah, thank you guys for coming in the room and sharing your stories and stuff. But I want to share with you, let you guys know this, please, please, please. Like and share this, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook. Please like and share this with everybody you know. I'm going to be taking this whole recorded program. I'm going to put it into Rumble. I have a Rumble page on Rumble with my name in it. And I'll be sharing this around with everybody. I'll be going on Telegram. If you have not had a Telegram, there's going to be a time that we're going to have EBS, means Emergency Broadcasting System, is going to come on, and they're going to tell people to be locking down for about 10 days to 2 weeks. If that happens, don't get upset, don't get scared, don't worry. But they're going to show you something. It's going to become. It'll come on TV. They'll show you. You need to watch that closely. You just need to see it, by the way. But when it does happen, Don't be upset, but Telegram is going to be the only page, the only website possibly that's going to be not bothered, because Macron, the French president, was trying to keep the owner of Telegram behind bars, and they were going to charge him for treason, because he was there to do, he was supposed to be there to do a lecture, and when they knew he was coming, they arrested him and put him behind bars. So they were trying their darndest to have him charged for something. They got nothing on him, but Macron was trying to do is stop Telegram from actually being seen from France. And the same thing from another country, which would be, what was that country called? Oh my God, they speak Spanish. Oh, they speak Spanish. Brazil. Brazil is in the same. Brazil does not want anything Instagram. They didn't want X. Right now, they're fighting with the owner of X, which we already knew who that is. They want him out of the way, so they want him behind bars, they're threatening him and telling him, if you don't back off and stop telling the truth. And he actually did say, back off and stop the people from telling the truth. And that they're gonna ban that X on Brazil. He doesn't give a shit. And they're gonna try and do the same thing, banning Telegram. They don't give a shit. I've got 235,000 followers on Telegram. 235,000. Everybody has 235,000 on their Telegram pages. We're all being watched and we're all being looked at. And our commander-in-chief has seen us and has been watching our rooms and has commented positive feedback. They love us for what we're sharing. So I'm telling you guys out there, please, if you got a chance, join the Telegram page, download the app, be part of our group, be part of my group, True North Strong and Free. That's my group in there. That's what I have under True North Strong and Free. Again, you're gonna love this, and when you get to see some really great action, what's going on, truth tellers, truth seekers. Make a comment or two, share what you want to share. Anything you know that I don't have, put it on there, share it with other people. There's another great room called Boots on the Ground. Join their group. Another one called Q School Garage. Join their group. These are the three that I use all the time. I work with. I have my own personal one that I use, Q Garage, and Q is, or the Q, capital Q, SCH, and we actually replace the O's to Q's. So it's Q School with QQ, L Garage. That's our chat room, and once in a while you'll see the chat. If it says live, or if it says it's a live chat room, that means if it's a active chat room, then we're in there. Lots to see. It's an active room, constantly on the go. We're always chatting 24/7. And you get to meet up with all kinds of like-minded people. I'll give you guys an idea. I'm going to switch this over here for you guys to see, so you'll see what I'm talking about. This is Boots on the Ground. I'm going to bring this up too for you guys. You see the entire screen. Okay, so this is Boots on the Ground. You can see the title right there. They have 1,358 subscribers, and now those are subscribers. And you got your users, which is 140 some odd thousand viewers. So these are people coming in the room just to view it. Okay, and then if you want to join in, you click on the word join, and then there's a whole complete chat room itself. You get to see what they're saying and doing. So I'll just click on that for a moment.
That's right. In order for us to be learning what's right.
And if you want to unmute to join in, that's what you do.
Right? Someone or something with a higher level of IQ. And
so that's what I'm saying. This is what you do. So it's like Boots, and then mine, and same Q as the same thing. If they have that part join, if that shows, and how you can tell if the room itself will have a green filter. This thing will be active, look like it's green. It's open. That means right here it shows you that's what it is. That's an active room. That means this is a 24/7 chat. People from all over the world are in that chat room, and we're chatting and talking about all kinds of stuff. It's worth your while to have a look. And like I said, there's a list of all kinds of people in here. These are all the chat rooms. Like I said, mine's over here. This is True North Strong and Free. This is my good friend, late friend, Jordan Maxwell. He talks about Freemasonry. There's so many things to see here that people read about, watch the videos about, and again, whatever, you know, yeah, it's something that you'd be surprised. You just click on these and look at all these great stories and updates, what's going on, whether it's TikTok or you name it, they're all in there. Whoever likes to put in their shares, so you can see people's different names that they're part of that membership they want to share with you, that who's actually in there to say this is who they are or what. It's worth your while. You get to see a lot of great stuff and update. And then the thing is, you don't have to get upset. It's once in a while you get the odd story that maybe could be not agreed. You may not like some of the things they do, but that's just them. Um, and that's exactly what happens. So, like I said, it's a wonderful thing to do, and you guys will love it. It's worth your while to have a look and see what they're doing. You can have a lot of fun and just update your day. If you got nothing to do, come into the chat rooms, and have a look. I do this all the time. If I feel like I need to sit there for a couple hours and talk to the guys, or just for a few minutes, I'm in and out. But at least I know what they're talking about. And once in a while, people have their emotional issue days. They have their problems like everybody else. Like they get it. Some people get really, and also in that room, the chat rooms, they'll actually share with you some of the live streams that are happening on different locations. Sometimes Trump will do his presentation on the platforms at times, different parts of the state line. Could be somebody else doing a story. A bunch of guys could be doing a chat room, that sort of thing. The link actually is called Boots on the Ground. That's a friend of mine's room. Mine is called True North Strong and Free. This is the group page. I'm in the True North Strong and Free. Theirs is called Boots on the Ground. And the other one's called, let's go here. And I'll show you, I'll go back there again. I'll show you the other page of the other one, which would be the Q School Garage. And you'll see that's what it looks like. I'll show you guys on the screen here. On that screen too. There. This is your Q School Grad. See how that's written? There's 1,955 members. These are members that joined the group. That's not including all the people that are viewers. We have like 140,000 viewers watching the combined, see what's going on. Yeah. So now it's fantastic. You guys you'd be surprised what you learn from it. Derek, did you hear about the accident at Sucker Creek? I heard about somebody passed away. My friend Georgie, is that who I'm thinking it is? Am I wrong or am I right? Not Georgie himself, but his somebody mentioned about somebody passed away. Let me know, Summer. So okay. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for being part of the program. I'm going to love you and leave you, and we'll talk to you guys next week. In the meantime, be good to each other, and don't be so hard on yourselves. Watch over each other and start, collecting, saving. 7 people in an accident, 2 got killed with motorbikes. A big truck created this. No way. I'm so sorry to hear that. This is up in Alberta, folks. It's up near the reserve up in Sucker Creek. I've been there for many years. Wow. That's why Georgie was upset. No way. Trucker was drunk. That's stupid. That should never have happened. None whatsoever. It should never happened. Oh, well. Two young guys suicide the same week. Jeez. We're losing. We don't want to lose our kids. That's not good. There's too many suicides in that area. It's just too much pressure. There has to be more activities for the kids in that area. In the whole area. There's got to be more activities. We'll talk about it. Anyways, folks, thank you guys for being part of the program. We'll talk to you guys next week. In the meantime, we're going to go out, and peace be with you.
Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright. Isn't it time, brother, stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we gotta learn to live together. Peace in peace, peace. Alright, peace, peace together. Peace.